So here it is. This is the iPhone 17 lineup. But what if there's one more thing? What if Apple surprises us with something that no one saw coming? Sounds like there's a chance or two that some pretty crazy last-minute changes might actually be happening. But first, I want to give a big thanks to Lark for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna take a sip of water while you watch the most satisfying clip you'll watch this week.
And so there is a real expectation that Siri should be as good, if not better, than the competition.
Oh, I think ultimately it should be. That's
but it's not right now.
That's certainly our mission. Yeah, but that's our mission.
Apple loves to toot their own horn so much that it is so satisfying because it is so rare to see them confronted about reality and the fact that they don't always get things right. They're not always the best at something. And when it comes to some of the missteps lately, Apple Intelligence, it's nice to see them called out and sort of scramble to come up with an answer that actually admits defeat. And on one hand, I get it. Apple doesn't want to look weak. They don't want to look like they're lagging behind the competition, so they don't want to admit they were wrong. But on the other hand, I feel like when Apple does do this, when they admit that, hey, things aren't going great, but we're gonna fix them, it's not weak, but it actually, I think, is a stronger approach that shows that they're confident and also, you know, crazy idea, willing to admit that they were wrong. And one of the best examples I can give for this is the MacBook Pro. Remember back in 2016 when Apple totally revamped the MacBook Pro and they took away ports, they went with this weird butterfly keyboard, and we got this weird little OLED strip called the Touch Bar on top that was super controversial. Iteration after iteration, Apple would sort of tweak things and try to fix things, but people were not happy. The community, Apple fans, Apple critics, they were all very vocal saying the same thing. Fix the keyboard, give us back ports, and kill the Touch Bar. And if you are going to do those three things, the MacBook Pro would be great. And then Apple finally did that a couple of years ago, and shocker, the MacBook Pro has become like one of the most well-loved and well-regarded devices from Mac fanboys, Windows fans. Everyone can agree the MacBook Pro has sort of reached its best form and is really, really good. That just goes to show when Apple listens to their customers and admits defeat, it's not a bad thing. It can be a really good thing and maybe could even lead to more sales. And even as recent as WWDC a week or two ago, we saw two more examples of this, Apple sort of admitting that they were wrong and their customers were right. Number one, obviously, iPadOS. Many have long been saying that iPadOS is too limited, they want real multitasking, just make it more like a Mac. So that's exactly what Apple did with iPadOS 26. And of course, it's still in beta right now, but again, spoiler alert, it's shocking. People are really happy, and the early sort of previews and consensus around iPadOS 26 is that it's a really solid, worthwhile upgrade that is finally going to make the iPad better. The other weird, more specific example that I do think is sort of, again, Apple showing they were wrong was with the whole Genmoji thing, image playground. This whole feature never made sense to me, and Apple's image generation engine was just plain terrible. So bad so that Apple had to publicly state they were now gonna be relying on ChatGPT and OpenAI to also be helping with those image creations on your iPhone, which already look a million times better. So again, I think, you know, give Apple credit for trying, but they're not always right. Not nearly as much as they think. Also, I don't want to spend this whole video bagging on Apple. I do think there is obviously room for improvement and hopefully some things we see very soon. But I also think that a lot of us don't give Apple credit for some of the cool, like, underlying sort of secret technologies that really do make our lives better. The Health app and sort of the Health Kit framework, for example. And if you've got an Apple Watch, you're already sort of contributing and you can get smart scales and stuff like that. But what about when it comes to something we do every day, drinking water? That is where the PureViz 2 comes in from this video's sponsor, Lark. I'll admit, I've been a longtime Lark fan. I've wanted to try one of their water bottles for years now. I finally got the chance to team up with them for this video to try the PureViz 2, and I've got to say, I am not at all disappointed. This is the coolest water bottle I have ever tried, and also the smartest water bottle I've ever tried that you guys, as Apple fans, are gonna love. So on the surface, yes, it's a sleek water bottle. It looks super nice, it's very premium, it's elegant, almost sort of matching the Apple aesthetic that we all love. But it's also very smart in the fact that it actually will do two things very importantly. Number one is it's automatically going to log your water intake, like every time you take a sip of water, log how much you actually drink, and then feed that information directly, natively into Apple Health. And I can speak for myself, I know that I'm not drinking enough water, so I try to really up my intake. I sort of like the accountability aspect. Not only is it sort of nice to have all the info over to your phone, but also the accountability, knowing that you've got an actual stat here to see exactly how much water you're drinking throughout the day is nice and definitely gives me a goal to really aim for and try to achieve every day. The second big component to this is that it just delivers better tasting, more fresh, cleaner water, and I guarantee you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a great filter system in there, eliminating a lot of the nasty, harsh pollutants. And then also there is the PureVis technology that's eliminating 99% of the biocontaminants usually found in water. And the end result is better tasting, more fresh, clean water. They've thought about the little details here, the fact that you can actually attach this thing to a bag, a backpack, sports bag, whatever it may be. You can check out Lark at the link down below. And also, they now are selling this on apple.com. So link down below, you can get this directly from Apple's website and give your water a much needed upgrade with my friends at Lark helping you out. And right now, it almost feels like there are two different paths Apple can go down for the next couple of years, because it feels like they're a little torn. On one hand, it feels like they kind of just want to do the same old thing. That, hey, we're Apple, we know what we're doing, we always know what's best. Let's just trust our own instincts and do our own thing, and everybody else is gonna catch up. And that could be a perfectly fine strategy for them and probably make them a lot of money. On the other hand, it almost feels like this could be the beginning of a new chapter for Apple. And with the new naming scheme for all of the software releases, it seems like this could almost be an opportunity where Apple sort of rebrands itself, so to speak, and goes in a new direction. And maybe this is a great opportunity for them to lean into the feedback from the community and make some changes that users have long been asking for. And I think there is a real opportunity here for the iPhone 17 lineup for Apple to do just that. Not only to redo the naming scheme and make it way simpler, but also to listen to their customers and change some things, not in a totally, out of left field sort of way, but one that serves more customers in a better manner. For example, let me break it down this way. If you look at nearly all of Apple's product categories, there are really three groups of customers they're trying to serve. There's the budget category of customer that wants the cheapest possible price. There's the mid-tier customer. Those are the ones going for the iPad Air or the MacBook Air or the Air equivalent. And then there are the pros, the higher end customers willing to pay more to have the best experience. And with the iPhone lineup this year, that's exactly where Apple is going. We're gonna have this basic iPhone 17, that's your entry level starter edition. That's what you want if you just want a 17. Middle tier offering is gonna be the iPhone Air or iPhone Slim. It's gonna give you still a more budget conscious experience, but with some newer design flares and sleek new features built in, and obviously a really thin design with this phone. And then the Pro market with the Pro and Pro Max. They have more cameras, they've got more powerful capabilities. Those are the ones for the pros. But we're also starting to see Apple slowly experiment with a fourth category for their customers, and that is an Ultra category. We have, of course, the Apple Watch Ultra, which is really meant to be sort of the highest end Apple Watch you can buy. We also sort of have the Mac Pro, which I guess you could still consider more of a niche Pro thing. You've got Vision Pro, which is a very expensive but very unique experience. And I guess you could group AirPods Max in there as well as being a higher end, more premium sort of luxury device that isn't for everybody, but does serve a particular customer niche. What if Apple was to take this approach with the iPhone 17 and give us 4, or I guess, 5 phones? We'd have the iPhone 17, the 17 Slim, the Pro and the Pro Max. You could sort of group those together. And then one more thing, another phone out there just for the enthusiasts, like an Ultra model that would have more of the unique bells and whistles. And I know this sounds crazy, but we're hearing Apple's already working on this in a couple of big ways. We're hearing right now there are two sort of new iPhone devices Apple is working on internally at Cupertino. We've got a folding iPhone that we've long been waiting for, this iPhone Fold, and then also something special for the 20th anniversary of the iPhone, that this version of the iPhone will really embrace the new liquid glass design aesthetic and have maybe some curved glass on the edges and get rid of the notch and be a way more premium phone. I wonder if this is a strategy we could see Apple implement not in a year or 2 or 3, but like this year in the fall. And with the iPhone 17 lineup, we got a fourth phone option, or whatever, a fifth phone, however you want to categorize it, that would be made for the pros and the enthusiasts who are willing to pay more for some extra special features. For example, what if Apple was to make the chunkiest, biggest, thickest iPhone they've ever made, not because they're trying to win any design awards, but because they're trying to give users the best battery life possible? That an iPhone Ultra would have this gigantic battery inside. Maybe it's got some crazy new design and also probably some crazy price tag to go along with it. Maybe that's a more extreme example, but I do think that if Apple was to listen to their customers these days, they would give us bigger batteries on iPhones, make the phones thicker, nobody cares. Give us some real colors on the Pro phones, because I mean, I've got, what did I even get this year? The regular black, like it's fine, but it's kind of boring when the regular phones have so many cool colors. Give us something more on the Pro phones. And then I think that Apple should just listen to what their customers want and give us that. Give us more base storage. Let us back up our phones on iCloud for free. I know that the customer isn't always right, and I know that's especially true when it comes to Apple, but I do think that, at least in the last couple of years, when Apple has taken the time to admit they were wrong, publicly or privately, listen to their customers, and make big changes, it's only given us better devices. And bringing back features like MagSafe might not have been something that Apple wanted to do, but customers wanted it, and I, for one, am super happy about it, and I think everybody else is as well. So hopefully we see some of those changes and that feedback loop translate over to the iPhone 17 lineup, and hopefully this is the beginning of a new Apple and a new era for Apple with some exciting products that finally just incorporate some feedback from me and you, like the ones actually spending the money to buy this stuff. So I'm curious, guys, your thoughts on this. What would you like to see with the iPhone 17 lineup? What feedback would you like Apple to heed, and some changes they could make in their new products? Drop a comment down below. Let me know. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see ya in the next one.